Hey everybody, welcome back to a new video. It's Asian in Norway. Today's video is going to be about cost of living in Norway. Cost of living in Norway is really difficult for me to give a precise number on everything. I just have to make an educated guess, and I'm gonna have to say about how much things cost. I cannot be 100% accurate here. So this budget I made is for one person if you're gonna move to Norway. So this is not for like a group or a family, but you can make your own calculation based on how much it costs for one person to live here. So let's start with rent. Rent kind of depending on where you live in the city. Let's say in Oslo, it kind of depends if you live in very close to the city town, costs a lot more. But if you're living a little bit outside of the town, costs less. And of course, depending if the apartment is new or old, and of course, depending on the size of the apartment. I will put the price on average for one person, maybe 40 square meters, around maybe 8,000 kroner on average. Of course, you can find a lot cheaper than 8,000, and you can find a lot more expensive than 8,000, and depending on how much money you make and how big your budget is. And I am gonna tell you guys that I'm gonna overestimate all the prices. I'm gonna purposely make them higher than they actually are, just so you kind of can be a lot better prepared in case you're gonna move to Norway for the long term. So the next is food, not counting restaurant or takeout. This is only based on groceries. Believe it or not, food in Norway is actually not that expensive when you compare to the salary you're making here. Now, there's a lot of stereotype or the assumption from people outside of Norway and thinking, wow, Norway is a very expensive country. Yes, it is, but depending on for who. Because people here do make a good salary. I would say a bread costs around, on average, like 40 kroners, and milk costs around 25 kroners, I think. So for food per month, I would say it will cost around 2,000 kroners, again, depending on what you eat and how much you consume. And 2,000 kroner for a month is kind of okay for a single person, and that will include stuff like bread, pasta, milk, soda, vegetables and meat, etc. Next is public transport. Now, I can only speak for Oslo because I live here. I'm not sure about the prices in the other cities, but in Oslo, you will more likely pay for around, I think, 700 to 800 kroners per month for public transport, and it's not really that expensive in my opinion. Like in other cities, you pay something similar, but Oslo city is big, and if you're living close to this town, you don't need a car in Oslo. Of course, unless you're gonna go all the way to Sweden for grocery shopping, then you're probably gonna need a car. The next is power, internet and cell phone. Now, depending on your contract with your landlord, sometimes they include the power in your rent. Sometimes they don't. So, but I would say, depending how much power you use, like if you have a child, you're probably gonna have to use the washing machine every day. If you are a hardcore gamer, you probably want to have good internet speed, so other players don't complain about your lag. Like I getting complaints when I play, but I did upgrade my internet speed the past weeks. But anyways, again, depending on your contract and depending how much you use. Now, the power during the winter time, you obviously gonna pay a lot more for power because it's cold. You're gonna have to turn off the heat, and the heat costs a little more money. So I would put an average price on cell phone, on internet, and the power around 500 kroners each per month. Now the power, of course, gonna be increasing. Will almost be 1,000 kroner to 8,000 to 800 kroners during the winter, depending on how cold it is or depending how warm you want the house to be. So the last part is not something you're gonna necessarily need, but you know, going out to drink and party, you're not gonna just work every day in Norway. You probably want to have some fun too if you meet new friends. Now, drinking outside and party outside can cost a little bit of money. Now, I don't drink a lot of alcohol. I don't go outside to drink. But I know the prices, and the prices are not cheap if you're gonna go out and drink and party every day. Because I know a lot of other European countries, alcohol is super cheap, but in Norway, alcohol is not cheap. I have heard of a few people before, like if they spend a lot of money in one night, they can spend up to 2,000 kroner in one night just to party and drink. But I will say the cost for drinking can depend on how much you're drinking at, but it can be around like you can spend up to 500 to 1,000 kroner per night if you are, you know, being careful with the money. If you are just drinking and party like there's no tomorrow, then you can spend up to like, I don't know, 3,000 to 5,000 kroner for one night. The salary, how much money do you gonna have after, you know, all the bills are paid? Well, if you, let's say, make around, you have around 22,000 kroner after tax. Now, by the way, that's considered one of the lowest salary you can find in Norway, because 22,000 in a month is not a lot. Then you will, if you spend carefully and based on the budget, you will have like something around like 7,000 to 8,000 kroner a month left that you can have for savings. So this budget is based on the stuff that you have to pay the bills for, you really need it. I did not calculate all the extra things, like, you know, you're probably gonna be buying, go to a restaurant, probably gonna buy a car, you're probably gonna go do some shopping and buy some new clothes. I did not calculate any of these because, you know, that depends on every individual, and that's not something, you know, you necessarily need every day. So I guess this is all I have to say for this video, and I hope you find this information useful, and so I'll see you next time. Bye.